Hi there, Occupy the Need Act friends. This is William. Uh, it's a little after 2 p.m. here in Norman, Oklahoma, where I'm at. I'm going to talk to you about the Need Act and going to talk to you about we've got to end the Puritan work ethic. Um, it's I've got a funny hat on. I didn't have my regular hat. I've been out on my bicycle. This is a rig that I put underneath my helmet, see, like that, and uh, and uh, uh, and I couldn't find my regular hats that I usually wear. So um, and it must be 50 degrees, 40 degrees, something like that here. Forgot to look the temperature. It's a bright, sunny, cold Sunday afternoon at a little after 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Norman, Oklahoma is right in the middle of the United States, uh, just below Oklahoma City, 21 miles. And we are the home of the University of Oklahoma, where I went to school back in the 60s and got a degree in money and banking and didn't learn a damn thing about what I've learned since Occupy Wall Street, since I learned about the NEAT Act, which is all about money and banking. It's about how the bankers are screwing us, and they've got a scam going. They've had it going since uh, hell. Let's see, um, Bank of Amsterdam. I think that was it's in the 17th century. Yeah. Our banking system came by way of actually Venice, uh, Portugal, Belgium, most recently in the 17th century, the Netherlands, then the Bank of England, and the English wanted us to adopt their monetary system, and we said no. In the colonies, there were no banks. They wanted us to adopt uh, the the Bank of England, which was created in the Bank of England Act in 1694. And this shit goes back, man. And these bankers know how to control us. I just learned a little new song today from South Pacific. My friend Sydney Smith in Brooklyn posted this, and it was like one of the lines was 6, 7, and 8. Teach them what to hate, and and uh, they hate us slackers. That's what they teach us to hate the slackers in the class, which I was one, and I found out that the leader of our Alliance for Just Money uh, was a Montessori student. He talked about it last night, and then he went to a straight high school and said he had a lot of problems there. They couldn't control him because all these kids sat straight in class and followed orders, and he wasn't about that. And so now I know why I like Govert. He doesn't like following orders. And then he said what came out of that his training and Montessori training is he likes to get into subjects, and he has gotten into the NEAT Act, and it's called Alliance for Just Money. Alliance, ALLIANCE, for Just Money. Look, Google, uh, uh, join up. You can join up for free for nothing, and if you want to give them $20, they'll make you a lifetime member and give them $5 more. Uh, and let's I just found out some things about Govert last night. We had a Zoom session where we usually have a guest and talk, and he makes his proposals about just money. And But that was the night before last, uh, we just visited and talked about things, who we are. And so I've learned, I'm, I'm learned like the need not enough. It's roll to the and we're Puritans through and through. We're Puritans. We've been raised that way from the age of 6, 7, and 8. Uh, we've been raised as Puritans, and you know, the man of the people, Jefferson. You know who created the Marines to go occupy and bring about a regime change. It was it was Jefferson. He created the Marines, put them in wooden boats, sent them all the way to Tripoli to change the administration there. They were my goodness, they were pirates, and they were attacking our ships. We couldn't have that, could we? Even if it was in their waters and in their area of the world. No, we couldn't have that. So we create the Marines, put them on wooden ships, send them to Tripoli, and do a regime change. Uh, that man of the people. Well, uh, it's going to take more. It's the people. That's here's our problem. It's us, and we believe in the in the Protestant work ethic or the Puritan work ethic. And what that means is no matter how you're being treated, no matter how little you're being paid, no matter how you're being screwed over by the boss, you like your job. You love your job. BS. And I know there's a lot of people like me because I hear some of the old seniors say, I retired as soon as I could get Social Security and get away from that place I was working. And, which is exactly what I did 16 years ago when I turned 62. Well, it's about 17 years ago now because I'm working on being 80 years old. So anyway, we've got to. Uh, haven't seen anybody join yet. Okay, um, we've got to uh, end the Puritan work ethic. Put the Puritans back on the Mayflower, take their passports away from them, and send them out to sea, never to return to port again. Who the hell do we think we are that we can go tell other people how to live? Now, that's not going to make the feminists very happy because they're real good about telling us how to live. I got into it the other night at the same meeting where I learned about Govert being a Montessori student and really learning to like him better. One of the other people started off on the frontal lobe, how big the frontal lobe is, and how uh, it determines who you are and what you can do. And I went off on him on that. I said, that is nothing but eugenics. He said, well, I never heard that before. I said, yeah, calipers were measuring the size of the fucking frontal lobe in the brain. Got tape measures. Remember those Nazi doctors in their white suits that had calipers and tape measures and measured noses and necks and skulls? Exactly what this frontal lobe junk theory is. And it's junk science. Stay away from it. So anyway, with the NEAT Act, we can provide $50,000 a year basic income, which is what the minimum wage would be if the minimum wage had kept up with the increase in productivity since 1968. That hadn't been that long ago, and it's not done it. So let's let's maybe I can back off here a little bit. Um, let's occupy the need act and get us a good basic income. You get free housing, yeah, free housing, free medical care, uh, free transportation. Oh, they just opening up a new train station in New York City. We should be able to go on a train in New York City and go anywhere in the country on 200 plus mile an hour trains for free. Monahan, Monahan, whatever you say his name, the one they named the new train terminal after, and it's pretty spectacular. I think the state of New York spent 1.9 billion or 1.8 billion dollars on this thing, remodeling it. They got all the new tracks underneath a big hall with escalators that go right down to the tracks. I've been in Penn Station, and that's the way Penn Station is. Uh, yeah, you get on the escalator, you go right down to the track. I paid this this guy $5 to take me down the track, and I thought, hell, did I pay $5 just to do this? Just to go down the escalator? He said, "Here's the train," and and so, but I was in a strange territory, and I didn't know what I was doing. That was 3 years ago on a visit to New York City. So I hope to visit New York City again soon. Get this COVID over with. I've built up a lot of miles on Amtrak, and Amtrak service is okay. They're cutting it back. Don't need to be doing that. Need to be expanding it. And the NEAT Act, we can expand the Amtrak and give everybody free coach. You want to upgrade to a bedroom? Yeah, go ahead and pay for that. But if you want to just get on the train and travel, it can be free. Why not? If the money's free, we're not having to pay taxes for it. We're creating it ourselves. We're not borrowing it for any bankers. We don't have to pay him for anything. In the NEAT Act, we just create the money ourselves. Somebody says you can't do that. Hell, how do you think we got our independence from England? That's exactly how we got it. That's what we were creating continentals and paying for the things that we needed. That's how we didn't borrow money. We didn't tax people for it. We just created the money and spent it for the things we needed. Benjamin Franklin went to England. They asked him, well, what do you do about the poor? And he says, we don't have any poor. Well, you got poorhouses? No. Well, we don't have any poor. Who would be put in them? Who would be put in poorhouses? They had full employment. They had everybody had everything they needed. There was plenty of money in the economy because they created it themselves, the Continentals. Look it up. You'll hear a bunch of lies about the Continentals. Now, what was happening was the English and the French were setting out in the harbor counterfeiting Continentals, trying to destroy the value of them. It didn't work. We beat them with those Continentals that had been devalued. We beat them. Now, what happened after 1778? Hamilton and Washington got together and delegated the power to create money to their friends, who became the first bankers. Guess who became the richest man in the United States? George Washington. And speculating, selling land that was taken from the natives. Sorry, bastard. So these people that were Hamilton's friends knew that the debt certificates of the colonies were going to be bought back by Congress at face value. What they do? They went out into the colonies. They bought these up for pennies on the dollars, brought them back. You know what they did with them? They capitalized the first bank of the United States. Our banking system was completely born in fraud. Now, You can learn about this at a place called needact.org, N-E-E-D, ACT, A-C-T, all one word, .org, or on monetary.org, which is the American Monetary Institute. And the man that co-founded the American Monetary Institute with his lady friend, that's who the other co-founder was, who helped finance him and help protect him and help him stay stable, like a guaranteed annual income, like we need. Um, uh, he wrote a book called The Lost Science of Money. Get a copy of it. Send me a message. I'll give you a free PDF of it. After you read it, you'll do like a lot of us have. We get a copy, a hard copy. Give the American Monetary Institute $40, $50 as a donation, and get the book, and help support work that we do for trying to help all of us get free of the bankers and get free of the Puritans that want us to work in jobs, whether we like them or whether we're being treated well or not. So, okay, what the NEAT does, the first thing it does is nationalize the Federal Reserve. That scares the shit out of people. Sounds like something they do in communist countries. They nationalize the business. Well, we're going to buy it back. We're going to buy back the Federal Reserve System from the owners. J.P. Morgan Chase owns almost 50% of the stock. We're going to pay Jamie Dimon. That's it. He's the chairman, CEO of J.P. Morgan Chase. We're going to pay him for the stock that he owns at the Federal Reserve with the new dollars that we create in the NEAT Act. Yeah, it won't cost us anything. We just give him the money and say, become an honest man, because this will make honest people out of the bankers. Bankers then are going to have the money that they loan. They don't have to have it now. They create it at the instant that they create the loan. I can tell you more about that. Watch some other videos. I talk about that. On a computer. And my chair is about to give out on me. I'm sitting on soft ground. Let's stand up here just a second. Yeah, I just about lost it. So I'm sitting out on the patio. Nice place to be. And the air is clean out here, and the sky's blue, and the sun's shining. So we nationalize the Federal Reserve. This is what the NEAT Act does. It does three things. It nationalizes the Federal Reserve. Then it ends fractional reserve banking, which is the system that the bankers use to create money. And it's like, there's no fraction. That's a fucking lie. Because the reserve that's required in the system is created as soon as the loan's made. It might not be in that bank, but that made the loan, but it's there in the system. And if the bank needs it that night, they can go to the Federal Reserve and borrow it that night. And so this fractional reserve, this 10% and then the 10% and 10%, they all seen in the in economics 101 that you've taken. That's forget it. It doesn't mean a damn thing. Then after we end the fractional reserve banking system, the system that the banker can create money, how would you like to be able to create money? What do you think all these little suburban banks are about? Those people have figured out they can create money and take care of their friends. And that's exactly what they do. And I've been offered that by a small town bank. Yeah, we'll do what we say, and we'll make sure you never run out of money. God, I hate those people. And this is exactly what I did when the guy said that to me on the phone. I hung up the phone. and gave him a dial tone in his ear. So, okay, we're going to end nationalize Federal Reserve. We're going to end the fractional reserve banking, and we're going to spend money in the economy for things we want. And how about start it off with a $50,000 a year guaranteed annual income? So you've got a good base income that you can operate from. So you've got security. I've got a young man that lives with me. I just found out that I'm high risk for heart attack. That young man needs me right now because he can't make it on his own right now. And if he had $50,000 a year basic income, he can make it on its own. And free housing, he can make it on his own. Yeah. He can have free housing without qualifications, and he can't drink or can't have drugs. Forget that shit. Okay? That's why we got to end the Puritan work ethic. We got to end the Puritans' control on us here in North America that has made America the most dangerous nation on the face of the earth. We have killed millions of people. Let's stop that. So anyway, I think I will end the little video now. We're at 21 minutes. That's good enough. It's long enough to listen to my stuff. So uh, uh, if you see this video and you like it, share it with your friends. Say, what the hell is this guy talking about in the Puritan work ethic? What do you mean? That's what's made America great. America ain't great, folks. We're a dangerous nation. We've killed millions. It's time for us to stop. And we've got to stop it. Okay? And we can use the NEED Act to do it because we're going to have the money to control Congress. We've got to occupy Congress, and we've got to stay there. We can't make the mistake that Napoleon made. He occupied Malta and then left to go beat the hell out of the Austrians. And what happened? Malta went right back to the way it was. We can't do that. We can't just, we've got to take power and keep power. And we've got to be the kind of people that should have power, not the ones that want to control everything. Not you, feminists, and you, whatever. Do you know what the manifesto of the young guys that did Stonewall said? Yeah, I'm sure you don't. It's in a book called, I can't remember the name, but I can post it, about Stonewall. Anyway, a couple of months after Stonewall, it was in June and August in Kansas City, they had a meeting of the homosexuals, and the young people there had a manifesto, and they demanded sex with anyone, no matter who it is, no matter their sex, no matter their age, end and what the hell? That you're listening to an 80-year-old man. You ought to come to our senior center and hear us talk. And in censorship, yeah, and that's pretty much about it. That's what they wanted. Of course, the Puritan queers came along and got us to forming nuclear families, and where there's one husband and one wife, even if they're the same sex, and raising 2.5 children, doing all that, pushing baby strollers. That hasn't worked. Okay. Well, I'm going to end this now and come back soon. I'll talk to you again very soon. Bye now.